Hey everybody, it's Deborah. I just wanted to talk to you a couple minutes about Israel's new pipeline that they have named the Leviathan. I want to just go over some articles and just some Bible verses and some stuff to make you scratch your head, say this is quite curious and somewhat alarming, and it's ringing off alarm bells, I would say. So let's look at this article here. It says Leviathan rig goes online, supplying natural gas to Israel. Despite government reassurance, some local residents evacuate as pipeline expels pollutants ahead of launch. Electric Corp says consumers to see reduction in tariffs from Wednesday, Netanyahu praises new supply. Today we made history. And yes, they made history. They made also prophecy, because biblically it says that, there'll be a hook in the jaw with the Gog and Magog war, that basically the countries surrounding Israel will be, basically, salivating for the riches and the things that Israel has that makes them rich and powerful. And, they have so much natural resources, and they are so powerful at this point. I believe they're the 8th most powerful country right now, even though they're tiny, and that will, create that Gog and Magog war. That's why they want to attack Israel. So yeah, this is making history, and they believe a good way, but biblically, prophetically, it's another reason just to attack. And look at that name, Leviathan. And I just want to talk, well, actually, first I'll read this quick part about what this pipeline is. It says, Israel's offshore Leviathan field started pumping gas on Tuesday in what the operating consortium called a historic turning point on the history of Israel's economy. A joint statement from partners Noble Energy, Derrick Drilling, and Ratio said that the start of production was expected to lead to an immediate reduction in domestic electricity prices and the start of exports. For the first time in its history, Israel is to become a significant natural gas exporter, it said. A spokesman for Israel partner Delek said then that deliveries to Egypt were expected to begin on January 1st. It will be the first time Egypt will import gas from its neighbor. January 1st, 2020. That's when this is all setting off. Leviathan comes up out of the water, and it is history making, and it is going to cause surrounding countries to really be upset with Israel, the ones who want to make money off their own gas and pipelines and stuff. So we know what that's going to cause. So I'm going to read this here, Job 41:1. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fish hook or tie down its tongue with a rope? So you hear Job talking about Leviathan. It's obviously a water animal. And what is happening here, this pipeline is coming out of the water. And it's talking about it's being pulled up with a fish hook. So here you see Leviathan, a sea creature that symbolizes the forces of chaos that threaten the established order. It wants a new world order. Isaiah implies this imagery to God's eschatological, I think. Yeah, that's right. It's eschatology, guys. Victory over his enemies. Revelation uses similar imagery in describing the emergence of the Antichrist. Revelation 13:1. What is it saying here? It's saying this imagery of this beast coming out of the water that Isaiah talks about is in relation to what Revelation 13:1-4 is going to talk about, which is the beast rising out of the water. It's a similar thing. Now, do we find it strange that Israel is out of the water, rising this massive beast of a pipeline that is drawing in all the nations and stuff like that, that wants to, it says a new order, it's going to make history? And in Isaiah chapter 27:1, it says, in that day, the Lord with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, Leviathan, the twisting serpent, and he will slay the dragon that is in the sea. Now, who is this dragon that is in the sea that he's going to slay? This is Isaiah we're talking about. This is not Revelation, but yet doesn't it sound like the end of all things, that the Lord in that day will punish Leviathan? So is he going to just take some great fish out of the water and punish him? No, it's imagery, just like that other thing said. Now we have to be watching. We're watching right now because this doesn't seem like a coincidence that this big thing rising out of the sea is called Leviathan, and it represents the beast system. So here you see this is the beast that's rising out of the water. It's a bear. It's a lion and a leopard. Yes, and a bear. And this is all again imagery. It's representing different nations. And again, it is rising out of the sea. Could we be seeing, or could the Lord be saying that the beast system is rising right now, that he's trying to point this to us, that the new order is beginning and this system is rising out of the sea? Yeah, definitely. This is not a coincidence and we need to be paying attention. Okay, well, yeah, so I want to read Revelation 13, 1-4. It said, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw the beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, upon his head 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy." This is so weird because actually I was just praying the other day, asking the Lord to show me more about who are these 7 heads, 10 horns, and the 10 crowns. I was actually specifically asking about this. This is interesting. I think he's putting another puzzle piece for me, and I'll share what I know when I know it. And then it says, and verse 2, "And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet was the feet of a bear, and his mouth was the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and his great authority." So this is clearly the Antichrist. "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed." We know that's the Antichrist. "And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Now, somebody will want to make war with this beast that's coming out of the water because they're going to be, again, I said, upset at all this money being made. And I've said before in my last channel that I had a dream of a animal that was those 3 beasts. And I dreamt it before I knew I was into eschatology and understood this beast rising out of the sea. I believe that dream was from the Lord because I didn't know what those beasts were. And I had a dream of an animal that was all 3 things. I won't get into the dream right now, but in that dream, I had a knowing and I woke up that it was the Antichrist. And here you have, now it's talking about this beast rising out of the sea. And we see in Isaiah, something will rise out of the sea that the Lord is going to take out with his sword, with his great might. And it's all imagery. It's all connected. This is the beast talked about in Isaiah, also mentioned in Job, the Leviathan that is going to be out of the sea. And how can we not recognize this huge, massive thing coming out of the sea that Israel named the Leviathan? And yeah, let's talk about that beast a little bit. It says, from the description of this beast, we see he is linked in some ways to the Babylonian, the lion's head, the Greek, the leopard's body, and the Medo-Persian, the bear's feet empires. So I found this really interesting because look what it talked about: Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece. And look at this article. It says Israel enters pipeline agreement with Greek Cyprus leaders. This just happened. Look, that's January 3rd, 2020. So they just entered this pipeline agreement. What does it say there? That the beast is going to represent Medo-Persia, Babylon, and Greece. Of all places to talk about, Greece, and that's one of the empires. And they just made agreement with this pipeline, Leviathan, that is coming out of the sea. I mean, what the heck? So again, is this all symbolic? Is this the Lord really pointing at us to say the Antichrist system is rising, the beast is rising? I mean, definitely it's not a coincidence. It needs to be something that is, watched and thought about and looked into, prayed about. Actually, that should be number 1, to pray about it, because it's definitely symbolic. And I think it is just basically symbolic of the beast rising. And of course, it's symbolic of the Gog and Magog war approaching, because again, who's going to be upset that all of a sudden Israel has all this power and all this money and they're tiny? Why not just take it? Hey, why would you, if you're a big, huge country, or you're more powerful, or you have been around longer, like Israel has only been a nation this last time since 1948, why wouldn't you take it out and just take their stuff. They have gold. They can produce, like, I think, clean water from the air. They have, like, again, all this oil, gas production. So basically what I'm saying here is two things are happening. The Antichrist power is rising, and it is symbolically shown in this Leviathan. And the hook has been put in the mouth of the bear. And so basically you have this draw to, take out Israel as best you, like, however you can, but we know how that's going to go and everything like that. So I just thought I had to talk about this and show basically how the beast Leviathan is symbolic of the beast rising, and it just happens to be in the water. Is it coming on out of the sky, the land, jumping off a mountain? No, it is coming out of the water. So yeah, I just thought that was so interesting. So hope you guys did too. And I will talk to you again soon. God bless and shalom.